Welcome back to season 14 review, and we're not gonna play much, just go over the squad, and just how season 14 went, which, depending on how you look at it, we were, 2-3 matches away from FC champion, and then the fall off happened, and it was a struggle for us to get back, to say the least. But we've learned some new things about the squad. We've almost figured out what we're going to be like next season. We still haven't quite figured out which players are going. But, the first thing we have to look at, going over the season 14 awards, player of the month, unfortunately, he won't be the captain, but, he still gets the recognition of player of the month, which is Captain Eusebio. Once again, 98 man of the matches, almost 100 man of the matches. That is insane. What's even more insane is the guy right behind him, the guy to the right of him, had 92 man of the matches. So, our strikers really dominate these games, and obviously your strikers tend to get more man of the matches because they tend to score more goals. But, they were really a big part, really influential in our season. Now, talking about the guy on the right. First going back to Eusebio, obviously, as you guys know, he's not going to be your next season. Well, yeah, he definitely won't be your next season. There might be another change, but we'll come to that when we get to that. But the big thing is, last season set the record for 224 goals in a season. This week, he outdid himself. This season, he outdid himself, scoring 50 more goals than last season, 274 to be exact. Genuinely one of the best seasons we've seen from a striker, but there's a reason I say one of the best, because the guy to the right, the Golden Boot. Yes, that's right. Eusebio scored 274 goals in a season, didn't win the Golden Boot. The guy to the right scored 280 goals, 146 assists. I think he had 3 more GA than our captain did. Absolutely insane he is. His pace is insane. The amount of times we found him on the long balls, running in behind, running through the channels, and even just picking up the ball from deep and finding the back of the net. He can do all of that, and he's shown he can do it. Kylian Mbappe, 280 goals. Unreal player. A generational player, to say the least. He really is one of the best strikers in this game. Still, even though there are 108 overall cards in this game, this 104 card does the job day in, day out. But to finish off the big three, we go to the guy right in behind, and he gets the Playmaker Award for the most assists. 156 assists. We said he needed to make a big impact in this season if we really wanted to challenge for FC champion. Well, he did just that. 156 assists and 164 goals. So he doesn't just assist these two guys up top. He also creates a bunch of goals. And his first touch, his dribbling was outrageous. Passing, outrageous. He really has all of the Brazilian flair that you guys can see. And, if you haven't watched, he has one of the best assists, I think, of the season. Not just of the season, but of the year. That assist, genuinely unbelievable. Then you look at the two center mids, Ruiz and Fernandes. Ruiz managed to get both 100 goals and 100 assists. Got 105 goals, exactly 100 assists. He wasn't the biggest playmaker, but, he chipped in when he could. Anytime you can get 100 goals, 100 assists, you've had a pretty good season, in my opinion. The other guy to the left of him kind of let me down. He had 129 assists, which is a lot more than Ruiz. But the big thing is only 65 goals, which is less than he scored last season. Really didn't. He had his moments, he had his games, but really was never really a big part of the season. And whether or not he'll still be in the squad is another question, but I really didn't see the production that I thought we were going to see from assist-wise, you can argue, but I mean, I think Zico going up top, her going into that central attacking midfielder role kind of really limits Fernandez. He was more on the defensive side, which is fine, but we'd like him to be a bit more attacking. Because the guy in behind Rodri, to be honest, kind of disappointing for him, He had his screamers, he had his moments, but really not the production we thought we were going to get from him. In terms of helping secure this back line, I really didn't feel like he did a great job of that. To be completely honest, I think he was subpar at best. Simply put it, just not the world-class player that we were expecting. Hopefully next season will be better. And then we're going to start to the right for the back line. Puyol, average again. I don't really think he had a great season, but I don't think he had a terrible season. Defending wise, I think him and Blank were pretty good defense. Well, I wouldn't say good, but average. I'll get onto the left side in a bit, but yeah, attacking wise, I think he had. Trying to look at his, he only had one goal this season, but he had 30 assists, so he was definitely a little bit more forward in advance, but didn't really move the needle. Blank. Again, kind of average. Not what we expected from a guy that really can be one of the best center mids or best center backs in this game. I think head to head he's great. Manager mode didn't really live up to the expectation. Don't get me wrong, he was definitely our best center back, but I didn't really feel him. I didn't really feel his presence. And we're gonna get to the guy on the left of him, because this guy, he scored a lot of headers, but that was genuinely all he did. And I'm not going to completely say he was the worst. I think, to me, he was the worst defender, point blank period. But it also doesn't help that we have a left back who pretty much bombs down the field. Because we don't really have that left winger, left midfielder, he gets a little bit more room to run in behind. So really he kind of plays more like this than really a left back, which kind of hurts. Whereas Puyo, he'll go up here sometimes, but majority of the times he's staying right here. But I think that killed him, because when he had to transition over here, I feel like a lot of times Van Dijk played a little bit higher than he wanted to and a little bit more to the left. And I felt like he was trying to cover a lot for Moika, and to be honest, he just did not have a good season. Constantly got torn up by defenders, or by attackers, really. I think when teams wanted to really attack us, they went at him, and they found a lot of success. Whether or not he'll be at the club depends on what the new players look like, to be honest, but we'll see. And then to finish off the back line, Moika. In terms of up front, in terms of attacking wise, actually pretty good. 7 goals, 58 assists. He does take corners, so that stats are pretty inflated. A lot of Van Dijk's goals come from Moika's crosses. I feel like Moika did a great job crossing the ball. Him and Puyo, that was one thing I was impressed. Puyo really, his crossing abilities, I wasn't expecting them to be that good. They impressed me. So they do show when Puyo does get down there, he's effective. Same with Moika, but if they lose the ball in transition, which happened quite a few times, we get punished for it. And that was one thing that happened. And then Kobo. I'll show you guys in the season 15 preview what's going to happen, but to be honest, again, I didn't feel like he had a great season. Shot stopping, I don't think he made many world-class saves. I don't think he was really that player that we thought he was going to be, but I have hope for him next season. But yeah, that is all. And then before I forget, I was going to say that's it, but I have one more thing. I'm going to read out the ratings starting from left attacking, starting from Eusebio all the way down to Kobo. And this is in order of highest to lowest, highest to lowest rated players. So we start off with Eusebio and Mbappe, tied for 7.02 highest rated players. They scored the most goals, had the most GA. It's understandable. Right behind them, Zico with his 6.86. Again, pretty effective. Then you get to the center mids who were kind of off and on. Fernandez actually has a higher rating than Ruiz, which is, to me, I think it's more because Fernandez was also a little bit more defensively, and he doesn't go out front as much, so he had a 6.64, Ruiz had a 6.59. CDM Rodri, I think he had a shocking performance, and you can kind of see a 6.43. Not the rating that you should be getting. To be honest, I thought it was going to be in the 6.6. I thought our team was going to be a little bit better, but that is what he ended up at. Then the back four. Puyol with a 6.34. Mojica with the 6.32. Blank with the 6.32 as well. And then Van Dijk with the 6.3. To be honest, shocking. If the game wasn't really biased against goalkeepers, I would have him lower than Kobo. I just think Van Dijk he scored goals, but easily one of his worst performances, one of his worst seasons that we've seen him. And then Kobo with the 6.25. Not the best. I think it's actually his lowest rated season here yet. I think we took a lot of losses that we shouldn't have. But hopefully next season will be a lot better. So anyways, there you have it. That is your season 14 review. Again, a very disappointing ending to it. Started off on fire though. Hopefully next season we can start the same way and actually finish out and get to SC Champ. But anyways, that's going to be it for this season. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next season. Peace.